Holy shit, everybody. I found another human being out there that actually is reviewing other cannabis products and putting the information out there to try and help us all to understand better what are we consuming. And so if you like this content, which we know that a lot of you do, but you're not subscribing, hit the subscribe button. Just hit it right now, just right there. And hit it again if you need to. Hit 1 for subscribing, 1 for liking. There we go. Got it out of the way. It helps us. Thank you very much. So we're on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you're not over there already, is full of a lot of different business professionals. Jeff Rossen is the president of the Institute of Cannabis Science. I think he probably knows a thing or two. And so when he goes out and is purchasing some of these products and let us just say that isn't getting the exact experience that he thought, and then test them to see what's in there, you'll see that actually there's a lot of nonsense out there. So let's just jump right in. If you haven't yet, please make sure to go over and follow Jeff Rossen. I am so delighted that I have been chatting with him, and I'm so happy to see somebody else actually caring about the products that are being put out there. So yeah, I'll leave a link below for his LinkedIn page. So let's start off. First of all, Snow Rocks, I don't know what the hell, Snow Rocks Blue Dream. Okay, so he's in Florida. Florida, by the way, is littered with just so many inferior products, mainly due to the fact that it's full of convenience store owners that own a lot of the supply chain, and they all want everything as cheap as possible. And so you just have an abundance of just absolute trash. I would never buy any type of flower from any sort of convenience store ever. So basically, he went to DJ's Smoke Shop in St. Petersburg, Florida. And so there's a lot of these hemp-derived cannabinoids out there, as you already know. And but the issue is that a lot of this legality hasn't really been tested in the courts, and therefore he's also saying that there's basically a lot of nefarious activities that are sort of going on, right? Where people are putting stuff in there that's not actually there. So he bought Blue Dream of Snow Rocks from a company called Gold Silver Cannabis in North Carolina. And as I've been mentioning to some of you before, is like, you want to purchase your cannabis products from the West Coast, right? You want to purchase it from people that have been growing it for years. How many of you have been growing in North Carolina? Probably been growing lots of tobacco, probably pesticide-ridden tobacco in fields. I wouldn't really trust somebody in North Carolina who's been growing at all. And maybe they import somebody in who's been doing it, but again, not something that I would really look to. And so again, label says Delta 8 THC plus THCP cannabinoids, suggesting, of course, that there's Delta 8 THC in here and also THCP. The website doesn't mention the THCP. It says, we infuse our Delta 8 flower with one of our 8 terpenes and coat it with Delta 8 nano isolate, smokable powder to give it more potent effect. Straight away, when I read this, right, before we even get in, when I read this, I was just like, don't do it. Like, don't smoke that shit. Like, because the first thing, when I think of nano is a powder that is typically used for drinks, right? This is like the biggest marketing gimmick you could ever come up with. Like, hey, by the way, we've got nano powder. You can smoke it. It's like, but wait, isn't the bioavailability of smoking already better than edibles? And the only reason we really use nano is for edibles because we're like made out of water and that's an oil, but when we vaporize it, it's already like turned into a vapor so we can absorb it quickly into our lungs and there's really no need for any sort of nano. But majority of people don't see that, right? So, and they don't know that. And so when I read this, I'm like, wait, sorry. And normally those powders also have some sort of carrier with them. So like whatever the substrate carrier is, whether it's, it could be cornstarch, it could be whatever it is like, they're like, we got the smokable cornstarch, right? Like, it's honestly, I'm laughing, but it's not actually funny at all. I'm more laughing at just the audacity of these companies that obviously don't know much about what they're doing. And it's like, let's just put on whatever possible thing that we think will sell rather than just making a good product that's going to sell itself. So right away, and this says a 1 ounce jar sells for $220 on their website. I wonder if they still have these up. I'll have a little look, but I already from this, chances of these guys having like a full panel test is like absolutely not. Chances of them having like a heavy metals test is just like no, right? Absolutely not. Let's see, gold, silver, cannabis. Right? We're not just gold, we're silver too. In fact, we're everything. We're gold, silver, platinum cannabis. Let's see. Okay, gold, silver, cannabis. Let's see here. Okay, great. Let's see our products here. These guys, yeah, with the nano isolate. So, as expected, you have a cannabinoid tested 3 years out of date, 2 years out of date, and there's nothing in here at all that says any. Honestly, this looks like fake. If I look at this COA, it looks totally fake. Like, what is this one? This is for D8 flower. Oh, they actually have it for some of the D8 flower. But let's jump in here and continue with this. So basically, he packed his trusty bowl with this, sparked it up, and managed to take a couple of hits. It tasted like wood chips that had been rolled in someone's chemicals. If some blue dream terpenes are in there, I did not detect them. Perhaps I'm not sufficiently experienced a taster of snow rocks to appreciate the flavor, but I found it disgusting. Oh my God, this breaks me. I'm sorry, Jeff, but this just makes me laugh so hard. It's so bad, but it's so funny at the same time. But it's not funny because customers are legitimately smoking this, not realizing that that's not what cannabis tastes like. So this is the thing. If you've been in a state that never really had cannabis or you haven't really had cannabis, you might take this and be like, that's what cannabis tastes like. But that's not the case at all, right? So he definitely felt something. So yes, you could say, you could get, so these could get you high. And I didn't get any terrible headache or sickness. So appeared to have been spared severe penalties from my experience. Isn't that a good feeling, right? When you do some samples of products and you're like, at least I didn't die today. But you know what? I didn't get much else. So he got these tested over at Orange Phytonics. And Jill was so grossed out by these snow rocks, see the photo, and suggested to the bystanding Jeremy that this snow is a great way to cover up powdery mildew. We extracted a mixture of powder and underlying flour, injected it, and were pretty surprised by the results. Whoa, these guys must have the best products ever, right? Like, they must be. Our sample was just 11% delta 8 THC. That's it. I wasn't too surprised by the absence of THCP. So this THCP flower has no THCP in it. Right? This is what I'm saying about the industry, right? It's like the industry itself is like, we're either going to have like 0.1% or like maybe even push it up to 0.5 or maybe we'll even go as much as 1%. And we're going to call the whole product that. The other 99, we're just going to leave that out. And it's just like we're going to just do that. In this case, they're like, you know what, guys? Let's do like 0% THCP and let's put it in there, right? So, wasn't too surprised by the absence of THCP. The name goes around. THCP has a longer tail of carbons, which we all know, right? It's got the 7 carbon chain. And so basically here, the fact of the matter is that they found no CBD, no CBG, no CBDA, CBGA. So with flour, right, you would, as you know by this stage, everybody, you would end up with, when you grow the flower, it's all remains in the acidic. It's the A at the end. So for high THC flower, it's THCA. That's what diamonds are. When you come over to flower, hemp flower, it's going to be CBGA, CBDA. So the only way that it could not have any more flour in it is if it was extracted first. So what they do is that they are extracting all the cannabinoids from the flower, and then they are then putting on a couple of other cannabinoids to that flower, and then selling it to you as like, here's your cannabis. And so basically what that is basically like, it's like, can we get any sort of substrate that smokes, and let's put cannabinoids on it, and let's call it cannabis. And that's what this is. And so this foul product does, I love the honesty. This foul product doesn't belong anywhere, and certainly not in a strip mall store itself. If hemp flower at all, if hemp flower at all, it's lost all its CBD. This product also illustrates a recent new trend in the all cannabinoid market. Products that claim several intoxicating cannabinoids but contain fewer. Brilliant. Thank you, Jeff. Look at the state of that. Oh my God, look at those bags. It's disgusting. Look at this video here. Oh my God, that's horrible. That is absolutely horrible looking. And so, yeah, you can just imagine, like, and look at this. It's so ridiculous. Look at that COA. 79% delta. Hey, I look at these, I'm just like, oh my God, you're just full of shit. Like, there's no such thing as, there's really no such thing at all of any flower, because it would be full of oil, right? It's like back in the day when people used to say, like, we've got the 99% oil in our wick carts, and it's like, the oil won't suck into the wick cart. Like, you also are adding terpenes. This doesn't make sense to any person that knows. Like, this doesn't make sense. And so it's the same thing with this, is like, when you say like, hey, these moon rocks are 79%, it's like saying that you have a glob of oil and you put some flour on the oil, right? And that's what you're selling, and that's a moon rock. But we all know that that's just nonsense, right? So, yeah, that's it. And so, kudos to Jeff. Make sure to follow him over there. He has a second one here as well, where he's talking about some other espresso drops. And yeah, I love these reviews. I'm not going to go into this today, but I will follow up on it another day. Big shout out to Jeff Rossen over at the Institute of Cannabis Science. And I really hope you enjoyed this. Please just make sure to look at your COAs, everybody. Like, when you're purchasing a product, it's this little QR code here. Look at the COA, okay? And then if you look at it and it's not there, just don't purchase it. If you're noticing, it's just a very simple thing is this. If you notice a couple of different things, like this doesn't line up, like they haven't bothered with full panel testing, that's red flag number one. Red flag number two is like, if it's saying anything around live resin and you don't actually see any acidic cannabinoids in there, they're lying to you. So if they're lying to you about that, they'll lie about the dosing, they'll lie about everything else. And so don't trust them. We certainly don't. And neither does Jeff Rossen. So keep an eye open, everybody. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay strong. Good luck.